policies on standards of qualifications in Kenya that cover all the way from basic education, that's primary, secondary, TVET, and university education. So to start us off, as you've seen here, 2 rules. Please, if you are not speaking, keep your mic off, and also keep your video off. Nwasika, I can see you there. Please put your video off unless you are speaking. So we are ready to start. It's 10 o'clock, and we would like to invite Frank Mukuna to open the meeting with a word of prayer. Frank, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm there.
Please
Hello, sir.
Open the meeting. Yes, let's go.
Thank you, Director General, for this opportunity. Morning, all members. Let's bow down for a word of prayer. Our dear, precious, holy, heavenly, loving Father, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, we bow in your presence this morning because you're God. Lord, this is a new day you gave unto us, and we assembled for this very important meeting, the launch of the KNQA Strategic Plan 2020 to 2025. This is the blueprint that will propel this authority to the higher levels and even manage and make it possible for the authority to implement and work on its mandate. Loving Father, we want to thank you. We want to praise you for each and every one of us in this meeting. All that is going to take place, our leadership, oh my Father, we commit it unto thee, O God. We commit this authority in thine holy hands. We pray that, Father, may you take preeminence because you're God. Bless this authority, bless the management of this authority, bless the leadership of this country. We commit all things unto thee because you're God. For we praise this, believing and trusting in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you, Bonadiji.
Okay, thank you, Frank. Our program members will run as follows, then I'll make a few comments. So our program is that I'll make a few opening remarks. Then the chair of the Kenya National Qualifications Authority, Professor Clem Mwiria, will make some remarks. And after that, our Principal Secretary, State Department for Vocational and Technical Training, will officially open the workshop and launch our strategic plan. And then we will hear more about the strategic plan itself from Stanley Maindi, very briefly for 10 minutes. And then we will hear from Dr. Rhoda Jumba, who has been a consultant in this process. And then we will have an open session. We intend, members, that this workshop will be ending by 11:30. As a way of starting, I want to say that I want to invite all of you. I see nearly 100 of you have signed in, and we're expecting more people, I think up to almost 500 by the end of the workshop. I want to say that the work of the Kenya National Qualifications Authority, which is established by an Act of Parliament, the Kenya National Qualifications Framework Act number 22 of 2014, our work is to harmonize and coordinate training and education in Kenya. We have set standards. We are setting national standards for all our qualifications. And part of our work is to ensure that once we have set the standards, that all the qualifications awarded within the country then meet the national standard. And because we are an overall regulator of the education sector, we work with the regulators that regulate different sectors. So once we've set the national standard and the policies for education and training in Kenya, we expect then the Commission for University Education to domesticate those regulations within the university sector, and the TVET authority to domesticate those policies and standards within the TVET sector, and then the Education Standards and Quality Assurance Council to domesticate those national qualifications within the basic education sector. So that is our role. And so part of this is to also try and harmonize to ensure that students get value for money, that they are able to progress from one level to another without any problem, from TVET to university, from basic to TVET, both vertically and horizontally. So another work that we are also working very hard to do is to ensure that the qualifications that we award in Kenya are relevant to our current and future needs. So but a lot of our work then involves working with various stakeholders and industry to ensure that the qualifications that we examine and award as a country are in line with what employers and regulators are looking for. And so it's very important then that we all work together as a team. Okay.
Bwana DG, your name is muted. Your microphone is muted.
Oh, okay. I don't know when
Yes.
it got muted. Sorry.
Yeah,
Thanks,
sure.
Thanks, Frank. So is it? Did we hear what I was saying initially? Frank?
No, you may repeat. You may repeat, sir. Hello?
Okay.
Kindly repeat, sir.
Hello.
Not actually everything. We just lost the last few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes deliberation.
Okay. So as I said, once we set the national standards, our expectations is then that regulators within the various sectors, such as seaweed, TVET, and the basic, will then domesticate these national standards to the various sectors of our education system. The other issue that we are also doing is to ensure that the qualifications that we award in Kenya are globally competitive. So part of our work is to benchmark between the qualifications that we have developed for Kenya and how they relate to qualifications awarded elsewhere globally. So part of it is that's why we carry out a lot of recognition and equation. So we ensure that your qualifications meet global standards in all sectors, whether it's in accounts or engineering or medicine or whatever it is. So we really try to benchmark so that we get value for money and also that we get qualifications that can compete globally. As you are aware, Africa has just signed the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which is going to allow free movement of goods and services across the continent. So one of the areas that we are aligning ourselves with as a qualification framework is to ensure that Kenyan qualifications can spread across the African continent, because there's no way you're going to do trade and business without skills moving. So part of this is to create not just global competitiveness, but also to anchor ourselves as a center of excellence for training and education within the African continent. Members, I want to recognize, as I come to the end of this opening remarks, I want to recognize a number of people that are on this forum. We have our council members. I see Joseph Nyamora, Rosemary Jogu, that has been logged in since 9 o'clock, Isaac Kadirwa, Herichi Shah, Dr. Damaris Muhiga, and we also have council members that are CEOs and stakeholders within the sector. I see Engineer Stephen Okenga from the National Industrial Training Authority, NITA. I see Dr. Lawrence Kwandai, the CEO of TVET SIDAC, and Dr. Langat from the TVET Authority, and of course Isaac Kadirwa, representing the CEO of the Commission for University Education. I see a lot of people from TVET institutions across the country, and also from universities and from the Ministry of Education and other ministries that are also doing training within the country. So we think we actually have all the people, the stakeholders that we require and need to ensure that we deliver and that we share this policy document. As you are aware, the work that we are doing impacts on every training institution within the country, whichever sector you are in, every individual, because all of us have one qualification or another, either obtained within the country or from elsewhere across the world. And because we are a one-stop center for qualifications, both obtained internally and from outside, you are in the right place. So we would like you, through this conversation today, to tell us how you want us to work, how you want us to do the work that you have given us to do, to ensure that we give you value for money, that we also give you qualifications that meet the national standard, the international standard, and that give us global competitiveness for the work that we are doing. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now, at this point, it's my pleasure and honor to invite the chair of the Kenya National Qualifications Authority, who is an eminent scholar. All of us know Dr. Kiremi Mwiria, who has been an assistant minister in the Ministry of Education. He has also worked as a member of parliament. So it's now my honor and pleasure to invite Dr. Kiremi Mwiria, the chair of the Kenya National Qualifications Authority, to make his remarks, and invite the PS. I am not seeing the PS here. I think he's in another meeting. But as soon as he joins us, we should be able to invite him. Welcome, Dr. Kiremi.
Good morning, and we welcome all to this meeting. We are indeed grateful that you are able to join us to discuss this very important document that is going to. Am I getting up? Is your mic on? Yes, my mic is on. I am unmuted. Okay, proceed. This important meeting, I hope you can all hear me. It seems like there's a bit of a problem with the technology, but just to welcome all of you and to explain that for us as the Kenya National Qualifications Authority, we are joining other education stakeholders to address some of the key challenges that are facing our education and training sector. One of these challenges relates to the diversity of both what is taught, who teaches it, and the outcomes of that teaching in the form of certificates, diplomas, and degrees. And this is not just about Kenya, but it's also about other certificates that Kenyans have in countries that are neighboring us in Africa, but also regionally. The Kenya National Qualifications Authority will support national education reform aimed at improving, among other things, the quality and relevance of the education offered, the transparency from the point of view of both what is taught and the certificates that are issued, the equity of both learning and learning outcomes, in terms of both, not just the certificates, but to ensure that those who come out of our education institutions nationally and from other countries in the region and internationally are able to equitably, compete for available resources in the form of jobs and other opportunities. In terms of, also improving coordination of the education and training sector, because as indicated earlier, that diversity is one of the key challenges from the point of view of both what is taught and what comes out of the system. Now, to achieve this lofty goal, the Kenya National Qualifications Framework will coordinate and harmonize what is learned in our institutions and the resultant qualifications. To do this effectively, we're being guided by a 5-year strategic plan, which is what is being presented today. And this plan, among other things, begins by looking at the challenge, and which has been spoken about by both myself and our CEO. But not just looking at the challenge, but addressing how is it that we can go around this challenge in terms of both how we teach in our institutions and what is delivered in a way that we can quantify those results. The strategic plan also aims at aligning the training to regional and international standards, because we don't live in an island. And as we all appreciate, we have our young people training out of this region, but even more importantly, after that, they have to seek for job opportunities, not just in Kenya, but in the region and internationally. Therefore, one of the purposes of this strategic plan is to explain or to begin to look for ways on how we can also support mobility across countries in the region and internationally. The document that is in front of you, and which some of you have read, is dynamic and is subject to improvement. And this is part of the reason why we are involving as stakeholders in this launch. In addition to getting stakeholders like yourselves to give us comments, we do appreciate that the work of KNQA and the framework that has been, that has been designed by the authority may not be that well understood by key actors in the Kenya education system. As a result, one of what we plan, and that which is well stated in the strategic plan, is that there'll be a lot of sensitizing. There'll be a lot of talking. There'll be a lot of explaining, so that the public and other stakeholders can go along with us when it comes to implementing this very important document. With us, we'd like to take this opportunity to welcome all of you to not only make comments, but also to continually help us in improving this document, because like most strategic plans, this is a dynamic living document, and depending on what we learn as we implement it, necessary modifications and changes will be made to reflect not only changes but also in the wider community. I think by way of introduction, this is what I have to say at this point, and I'd like to take this opportunity to kindly request our permanent secretary, Dr. Joan. I understand he is not around, so we'll continue to join us at some point. So I think it's now my pleasure to invite Dr. Serem, Stanley Maindi to give us some introductory remarks on the strategic plan. Dr. Maindi.
Thank you very much, Chair, for this opportunity to give a background on the strategic plan. Ladies and gentlemen, my aim is just to give members a background information on what is in the strategic plan, so that you are well informed when you are making decisions and contributing on what it is. So in the Alfred, can you progress? There is Tariq Sadiq said that if you are failing to plan, then you are planning to fail yourself. This is what informs the inception of this strategic plan. Warren Buffett also said, Warren Buffett is the 7th billionaire in the world, worth $82 billion US. He said that an idiot with a plan can beat a genius without a plan. That is the importance of strategic planning. So this one now brings us to the origins of the Kenya National Qualification Framework, which the Director General has explained that it was established by an Act of Parliament of 2014 to be the custodian of all Kenyan qualifications in the country. And therefore it defines the qualifications we offer in terms of 4 components. That is the levels of qualifications, volume of learning, learning outcomes, and admission requirements. It also sets up a national accreditation system and a national quality assurance system, and a learners records, national learners and qualifications database. And finally, there's the national system for assessment and examination. So this qualification framework came into being because of the consistent challenges that had been facing our education and training sector. This included an incoherent and fragmented qualification system. We have, as a country, lacked a national learners or qualification database for a long time, so that we are not able to say who has been awarded which qualification from which institution or which country. We also lack a national accepted institutional program accreditation and standard system. There is also lack of a nationally accepted quality assurance system and standards that run this country, and therefore the need to have this qualification framework. Alfred, Pastor Alfred. So now this now brings us to the overall act, the role of qualification frameworks. Worldwide, qualification frameworks play a governance role of coordination, harmonization of policy of all qualification across government MDS, ministries, departments, and agencies. And secondly, it also ensures that all the relevant stakeholders in the education and training landscape are involved in the training aspect. So the qualification framework is there, and this is an integrated system that combines the entire education and training system in this country, right from the basic education sector through TVET, through industrial sector, up to the university sector, with the relevant levels, ours being a 10-level qualification framework that is able to articulate and offer flexible and alternative pathways for promotion of lifelong learning. The same framework is here to define the different components in terms of units of learning, entry requirements, and different progression pathways. This is the overall structure that governs and integrates our education and training in this country. The framework has an ecosystem. As you can see in this chart, KNQA plays a coordinator role where we have all the relevant industry sectors, we have the relevant education and training sectors, we have the TVET sector, we have the industry, the university sector, basic education, and even the professional bodies are all coordinated in an integrated system that informs the direction our training takes. And therefore, as you look at this strategic plan is aimed to guide this ecosystem shown here in realizing the objectives of education and training for this country. So maybe for some of you, you've learned that some people do not understand what KNQA is and what the role is. KNQA is the institution that was created by the KNQF Act number 22 of 2014 and regulations 2018 to guide, to implement the Kenya National Qualification Framework. And the mandate of KNQA are listed here, and the major one was to establish and maintain the KNQF, which is happening, which has already happened, and we continue to do so by registering institutions, and these institutions are qualification award institutions, both external and internal. We also register professional bodies and local and foreign assessment and examination bodies. Register all the qualifications awarded in this country, register all the learners, and implement what we call recognition of prior learning in this country. We do recognize both local and foreign qualifications offered in this country. So you realize this strategic plan we are celebrating, validating, and launching today was prepared in the context of our Kenyan Constitution, Vision 2030, the Big Four agenda, popularly the MTEP 3, which is running from 2018 to 2022. It's also done in line with the national policies, regulatory and institutional frameworks that are in place in this country, and the Sustainable Development Goals, especially goal number 4 on education and training, and the African Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. Thank you, and God bless you as you celebrate and give us your invaluable contributions in this strategic plan. I think, Alfred, you just go back one slide. You must have skipped something. Go back a bit. Alfred. And the next. Thank you. Thank you very much, Chair, for this opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Maindi. Thank you, Maindi. I would now want to, before we go to Rhoda with Serem, I would like to recognize, of course, the presence of our own Professor Paul Shiundu, Karibu, Professor Francis Adwal, the Vice Chancellor of Technical University of Kenya, who has been very, very supportive of this qualification framework. I now want to invite Dr. Rhoda to present the Kenya National Qualifications Authority Strategic Plan 2020-2025.
Okay, the Council Chair, Dr. Kilemi Mwiria, the KNQA Director General, Dr. Juma, and all the protocol observed. Good morning. Mine is just to appreciate the opportunity that we were given to facilitate the KNQA Strategic Plan 2020-2015. And I will speak to the process that we used to develop the strategic plan. And one thing I want to say is that the strategic plan was a highly consultative process. We did not develop the strategic plan without consideration of what the client wants. So ours was just to help to facilitate the process. Share the slides.
I'm doing that.
So we did the strategic plan, and initially it was all about meeting with the client through the inception report. And we did the inception report to actually help understand the terms of references and the direction in which the client was taking. During the development process, it was not us, but we were mainly facilitating the entire stakeholders and the client. So it was mainly the client driven. After the acceptance of the inception report, we did quite a number of the stakeholders meeting with the KNQA team, mainly to ask them to give us what is it that they anticipate to achieve. So in that regard, we were mainly looking at the presentation in which they gave us, especially on the terms of references, and we actually did consultation workshop, which we had the KNQA technical team and the key stakeholders. We also continued with the consultation with the Director General, the heads of departments, and other key players. Further, after we had actually collected a lot of data, we did a lot of streamlining of the draft document to come up with the first draft strategic plan, which we actually gave to the technical team for validation. Finally, we actually improved on the document and submitted a second strategic draft for further validation and review. And with that, we came up with a second draft, which was further submitted to the members of the council for further improvement. And I think after we had the council meeting to validate the strategic plan at the beginning of this month, we are here now to validate what was improved after that session and subsequent launch of the strategic plan. It is important for us to note that the strategic plan is a big document. We have a document of about 67-page document. And the first, if I can talk about the overview of the strategic plan, the 67-page document mainly has, we have the preliminary pages, which speaks to the table of content. We have the terms of references. We have the abbreviation and the forward and the acknowledgement that were given by the council chair and the Director General KNQA. We further moved to the key chapter 1, which is the main body of the document, and we needed to understand, especially the background information of the KNQA, for us to be able to give direction on what the KNQA is moving and going to the direction in which it is taking. In overall view of the strategic plan, our chapter 2 captured the contribution of the strategic plan to the global sustainable development goals and the AU or the African Agenda 2063 and the National Development Agenda. Meaning, therefore, what we wanted to demonstrate here is that the KNQA is not just operating and contributing to smaller goals. It is contributing to greater goals and to the national development goals. As Maindi had just mentioned, we streamlined the strategic plan to contribute to the Big Four agenda, the medium-term plan 3, 2018-2022, and the Vision 2030, and also went further to align and streamline to the African Agenda 2063 and the national and the global sustainable development goals. It was imperative for the team to also look at the operating environment under which the KNQA will implement the strategic plan. And in trying to implement the strategic plan, we had to do an environmental scanning. We actually scanned the environment, looking at the political environment. We looked at the political, economic, social, technological, ecological, and legal framework under which the KNQA will actually undertake its operation, so that we can be able to look at what are the factors that are likely to inhibit, and also the ones that will facilitate the implementation of the strategic plan. And I think that was also very critical for us to map out the strategic focus. And from the environmental scanning, we were able to also demonstrate the key issues that will be critical for the success of the strategic plan towards the end of that particular session. In the implementation of the strategic plan, we also looked at the chapter 4, which was very critical on the strategic focus. And in the strategic focus, the objectives of the strategic plan were derived from the key results areas of the Kenya National Qualification Framework. And in that sense, we were looking at what is it that KNQA would want to achieve. And we look at the key thematic areas. Mainly, we looked at the recognition, accreditation, and documentation, and we came up with an objective for that. We also looked at the standards assessment and quality assurance, which was another key results area for the cooperation, and also improved on that particular area. So we also came up with an objective for recognition, equation, and verification. There was also an objective for planning, research, outreach, strategy, and policy, PROP. And a cross-cutting issue, we had quite a few objectives under institutional capacity development. And in that case, we wanted to demonstrate, especially using the strategy map that we have, which is showing the linkage right from the strategic objectives, the strategic themes, the mission, and the vision. The vision of KNQA is to achieve globally recognized and competitive competitive qualification, transforming Kenya. And if that has to be achieved, we are saying that the strategic objectives must speak to the strategic themes, speak to the mission and the vision of KNQA. And therefore, we had quite a number of strategic objectives under registration, accreditation, and documentation. The KNQA envisioned to register and accredit all national qualification and qualification awarding institutions in the country for quality and to ensure that everything about qualification in this country are streamlined. In the standards assessment and quality assurance, they want to strengthen assessment and quality assurance of qualification to achieve international standards. In recognition, equation, and verification, it was very important that they integrate there's flexibility and mobility of learners through the training system and the labor market. In issues to do with planning, research, outreach, strategy, and policy, the KNQA key strategic objective is mainly to strengthen planning, research, outreach, strategy, and policy for informed decision-making and excellent service delivery. In the institutional capacity development, we managed to capture 3 key objectives. That is one, to ensure that there is continuous development of the authorities' HR capacity for excellent service delivery, to enhance financial and infrastructural resources for effective management. And of course, there was need to enhance the corporate image and the brand of the authority. And in all these strategic objectives, as I've earlier mentioned, they are coming from the key thematic areas or the key results areas of the Kenya National Qualification Authority. And we are looking at a greater future as a country where learners, especially those who previously had not been recognized, and the various challenges that have been in the education sector will be able to be streamlined with the implementation of this strategic plan. So it is one issue to have the strategic plan, and the other issue is the implementation of this strategic plan. And we are saying from here, KNQA can be able to implement and mitigate the challenges that we have already mapped out for them. And I think with an implementation of this strategic plan 2020-2015, we are seeing a great and a bright future for this country and the education sector. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Rhoda, for that presentation. And the strategic plan is available on our website at www.knqa.go.ke. Before we proceed, I wanted to again recognize a few members, especially our brother and CEO of the Higher Education Loans Board, Charles Ringera, who has been very, very supportive of this authority and the work that we do. Let me now hand over to Dr. Kiremi Mwiria. Dr. continue. I think it's coming as we wait for him to come. The PS is in another meeting, so he's going to join us at any time. Then he will be able to officially launch the document and also open our workshop. I think at this point we invite any questions or comments. And let me start with Charles Ringera.
Thank you, DG. And first of all, to congratulate KNQA for the launch of the strategic plan. I think KNQA is something that we have been really waiting for operationalization since it was since the act came out, and this marks a big step forward, just like Stanley was saying, in regard to kickstarting this process. I think from the strategic plan, one of the key processes, maybe DG, that we need to align is still the overlapping mandate of KNQA and also other authorities, mainly TVETA and also Q. So I hope this can be able to give us a roadmap in terms of how those overlapping mandates can then be cured, because then we might end up confusing the country more than solving the situation. I hope somebody will be able to comment on how that alignment needs to be done. Otherwise, congratulations and all the best during the implementation of this strategic plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Is Lawrence Kwandai here? Lawrence? Professor Adwal?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Mukwana. And I want to begin by congratulating KNQA for the strategic plan that you've just introduced to us this morning. This obviously is a great a landmark for education system in this country, because this is something we should have had many years ago, but it is never too late. And the fact that we have got it now, an important thing is, if you look at the list of the countries that have got national qualifications framework, Kenya is now one of the few of those countries in the world. And for that, we deserve to congratulate ourselves greatly for this. You will recall, Daktari, that there is still
I think your mic is muted, Francis.
Sorry. Thank you very much. Once more, I hope you heard when I was congratulating you. And
yes, we heard that too. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Then I think something happened for coming this far with Kenya National Qualifications Framework. And I believe that as this is a beginning, and as said by the chairman, Dr. Kilemi, this morning, the strategic plan is a living document. And I believe that as we move on, we are going to be able to tweak it here and there to make sure it works better for us. And myself, I feel very proud that Kenya is now one of the few countries that can claim a national qualifications framework. So, the other things that we still need to discuss, we are going to discuss at another level. And today, lots and lots and lots of congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Francis Adwal, who is our Vice Chancellor for the Technical University of Kenya, one of the very prestigious institutions that we are looking at for creating qualifications that will transform Kenya. In response to what Charles Ringera indicated, in terms of the work of the Kenya National Qualifications Authority, there is really no overlapping mandate between us and CUE. The role of the Kenya National Qualifications Authority is very clear, that we are setting national standards. As you are aware, all of you, we are doing accreditation of institutions in this country, and the CUE is accrediting universities, and TVETA is accrediting TVET institutions. But what is the national standard that must be met to accredit institutions? And we also have professional bodies that have been doing that. So the work of the authority is really to look at what is the national accreditation system that Kenya should use, and then the CUA will use that, TVETA will use that, and everybody else will use that. If we come to quality assurance, again, what we are asking is, yes, we are doing quality assurance, but what is the national standard for quality assurance? And for a long time, we didn't have that. So that's part of what we are working on. So ours is really to develop that national aspect, including how do you assess national qualifications? We know that our examination bodies, NEC, CASNEP, universities have been examining qualifications. But what is the national standard for carrying out assessment and examinations? We didn't have that. So that's what we are working on. So as far as I know, we really don't have an overlap. What we have is a national mandate. We develop national policies on quality assurance. We develop national policies on accreditation. And our expectation is that then those national standards will be domesticated by the regulator like CUE within the university sector, and TVETA within the TVET authority, and so on. And so really ours is to put up that, and of course bring in international competitiveness, that the standards and the policies that we are developing at the national level, which then the CUE is implementing within the university sector, also meet international and global benchmarks. So really, I think if it's understood like that, then we'll know that we really don't have any overlap. We set the national standard, and then the CUE domesticates within the university sector, TVETA domesticates it within the TVET sector, and I think once it's understood like that, we should be able to do our work very well. I want to invite Lawrence Kwandai, if he's here, the CEO of TVET SIDAC. If is one of the institutions that is accredited by, as you know, the work of the KNQA is we accredit examination bodies. So we don't accredit, and SIDAC is one of those. So if you are examining and awarding qualifications, then we accredit. Lawrence, are you there? I see him here, but maybe he's in another meeting. Chair Dr. Kiremi Mwiria, you have something to add? If not, I'll ask any questions. Anybody who has a question, maybe that would like, you can carry up your hand. I hope you know where to find that. I see there is a hand that is up from who is KM now?
Yeah, Chair, it's Kiremi Mwiria. I think it's Kiremi Mwiria.
Yes. Do you have comments, Chair,
Yes.
up to there?
Yeah. My comment is just to thank all those that have, contributed by supporting this launch, but also to encourage us in a way that is organized, where we bring stakeholders together. And just to the point that was made by Charles Regera on the possible overlaps, we appreciate there may be misunderstandings and tensions, among some of the institutions that we have to partner with. And it is in this regard that even as we sensitize the public and other key stakeholders, we hope to have a meeting where we straighten out some of the issues that seem to lead to some misunderstanding regarding whether or not there is an overlap and how best to go about it. But it's quite clear, as the CEO has said, our mandate is clear. It's over hacking, but we'll need the support of these other institutions. And for that, I think we need to resolve any misunderstandings and potential conflicts that might arise as we carry out our work. But otherwise, we are together in this, and we look forward to your support.
Yes, thank you. May I also come in? I'm Dr. Makuku from Association of African Universities.
Yes, Dr. Violet, all the way from Ghana, would like to, invite you as we develop this ecosystem for Kenya. Would be happy to hear from you what you think and what will be the best for Africa and your experiences from other African countries. Well, welcome, Dr. Makuku.
Thank you very much. Please, I just want to congratulate you once again, and it's quite exciting that at last you are launching the document. You remember, I was also part of some of your consultative meetings, and surely for everything that is good, we are not worried. But according to those other two speakers, including the person who just spoke, I'm also reiterating the same. Remember, I highlighted that there's an issue of overlapping mandates. Let us not brush this aside. And I beg you, don't do it like general statements. I've seen this in many countries. You know, I can give an example of Zimbabwe, where everything is under one roof and they have departments. But in case of other countries, if we take, for example, the Education Authority in Kenya and in Zambia, and the Zambia Qualifications Authority, if we take Namibia, let me go to the Zambian case. Please allow me, because this is quite a serious issue which otherwise can jeopardize the good work that has been done overall. So what happened is that there was a university to be closed. One institution sent out a statement, another institution sent out a contradictory statement. And now they started washing their dirty linen in public, in newspapers, in what? It's not good. So what?
Your mic is muted, Violet. Please put on your mic again.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
I don't know now where people last heard me. Did you hear me talking about Zambia?
Yes. We just lost you like a few seconds ago, so we've heard you, yes.
Okay. Yes. So
Talk about Zimbabwe.
That's the issue. Your documents, I read them. And I actually made a comment to that effect, that I saw the overlaps and they are there. And do you know, for one statement, 2 words or a phrase, it can jeopardize everything. So please, why don't you just go for the alignment? Somebody stated that we are going to call all stakeholders. Yes, have a meeting now of all stakeholders. Go through those possible areas of overlapping mandates, because everybody now would want to be felt their power and the task they were given through reading their own document. So you need to harmonize, you need to align, and this needs to be done urgently. It's something very, very urgent, which you should take seriously, because we have seen nasty things in different countries, and that can be resolved. It's not necessary. I just wanted to reiterate the need to do it urgently. Many countries have troubles with that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Violet, and thank you for sharing the experience of Zambia and also working from the Association of African Universities. Definitely, you are looking at the continental perspective, and we really appreciate that. I don't know if Dr. Auma Obama is here. Auma is running a very interesting Sauti-KNQA Foundation out
here.
there in Siaya. Please say something.
I just want to say good morning, everybody. I'm here. We're very interested in what you're doing. Congratulations again for the strategic plan. We are trying to introduce an orientation foundation level of training within vocational training. And we're working closely with KNQA and the other agencies, government agencies within education, vocational education, to see that we can get that off the ground, hopefully by next year. So we've gotten a lot of support. We're very happy for that. The main thing about what we're doing is to ensure that young people who come into vocational training actually come in because they want to, because they're interested in doing the course. And what we do is we do an orientation where they get a chance to
I sent you the link on the WhatsApp.
They get a chance to try several different vocations. They go into companies. We're working with industry in Western Kenya, in Kisumu area, the Chamber of Commerce, so that they get a chance to see what it means to do those different vocations. And once they've done that, we're hoping to be able to bring them to the level of level 3, level 4, and then they go into the government institutions that exist in the area and do the training with our mentorship and with our accompaniment, so that when they come out the other end, they're actually artisans, they know their job, they work at a level that is actually a standard that we're partnering with the German government. So we want to increase the level of artisan skills and deliverables in the country, because up until now, very often we have a lot of unskilled laborers doing the work, and a lot of buildings are falling down, a lot of jobs are done very badly. So we're addressing the quality of vocational skills, and that's where we come in, but right at the beginning level, when young people come and want to see, do they want to do this vocation? And we want to actually boost vocational training. We also have an image campaign that we want to do to bring it to a level where young people start seeing it as a really good way to earn money, and not just something you do because you didn't get into university and because nobody paid your school fees. So we want to uplift the blue collar job to make it something that you can actually earn a very good living. And we're working very closely with the German government, with our own institutions, like I said, KNQA, SIDAC, TVETA. We're working with all of them they're very supportive to try and get this off the ground. And we'll keep you all posted through KNQA as to where we are at, and hopefully you'll hear of us once we've succeeded. Thank you for letting us join the meeting. I'm here with my colleague, Anthony Mutisia, who is our coordinator and contact person for this project, and also Dan Otedo, who is the project coordinator. Thank you.
Thanks, Auma. I think we really appreciate. We've discussed quite a bit about your work, and we are really, really happy with what you're doing with young people. I wanted Ethnic Mutinda, who is from ICDL, the International Computer Driving College, to give us an international perspective. Ethnic, are you there?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Yes, I'm here and I've been listening in, and thank you for the opportunity to just make a comment. My name is Ethnic Mutinda. I work as a country manager for ICDL, the International Computer Digital Literacy Program. And it's a great pleasure to be part of this auspicious occasion when KNQA is launching this strategic plan 2018-2023. As ICDL, we have worked in many countries, in over 100 countries, where we have a great understanding about the importance of having a national qualifications framework, where programs that are international can also be mapped to a local framework, so that the people who are acquiring those qualifications locally can understand the relevance of that particular qualification at a national level. So for us, this marks a great milestone for KNQA and the work that they are doing in transforming the education sector here in Kenya. And we look forward to work with the management of KNQA in aligning the ICDL program so that more and more young people and those who are working can acquire the digital skills that are required for today's workplace. Congratulations to the chair, the management and the board of KNQA on this auspicious occasion. Thank you.
Thank you, Ethnic. Ethnic represents that international perspective. I see my senior here, Professor David Some, who was for a long time our CEO at the Commission for University Education, and in many ways was involved in educational reforms and aligning education to the Constitution of Kenya. So part of the institutions that we have actually come up with after 2010, including the Commission for University and the Kenya National Qualification Authority, was part of his work. Professor Some, welcome, and give us your comments in terms of what you think.
Juma Mukwana, thank you very much for the opportunity. In 2010, we had the opportunity to align the education sector with the new Constitution of Kenya. And what we brought out very significantly at that time was the separation of technical and vocational training from that of universities, which were both claimed as higher education. What I see in your outfit at the moment is that you still will have the biggest challenge in the recognition of technical and vocational education and training. because most of it are competence-based. Most of it are hands-on, people who have already finished their formal education but have come back to gain skills in various technical or various vocational skills. How to recognize those would only mean that we adopt the international recognition protocols of technical and vocational skills. But otherwise, putting together the entire line of education from primary to research work as training is a very big exercise. I wish Kenya National Qualifications Authority the very best. You have my best regards.
Thank you, Professor Some. I see Yona, your hand is up. Introduce yourself and make your comments. Yona.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Chair. My name is Yona Baliage. I'm the Director of Quality Assurance of the University of Eastern Africa, Baraton. And I've been the National Qualification Authority many times. I would like to thank you for inviting us and for this exercise. Mr. Chair, I would just like to share my experience with the qualifications and what I appreciate about this National Qualification Authority. Before, some years ago, you know, for us at Baraton, we are an international university. We get students and lecturers from many countries of the world. So at one point, we wanted to qualify the high school, secondary school, and then diploma from other countries. And when we went to the Commission for University Education, they told us for secondary schools, you go to NEC. Okay, we go to NEC and you stand the whole day. You come another day. There was being then say, okay, you go down to South Seas. You go there, you spend another day. You see, we could not find a place where we could be able to. Then the same thing happened when it came to diplomas. So when we went there, they told us, well, this is not done by TVET. So we went to the TVET headquarters. They say, well, we have not started. We deal with government universities only, government technical schools only. Then we were not able to do that. But you see, when the National Qualification Authority was open, you go there, okay? And they deal with high school qualifications, bachelor's qualification, doctoral qualification, everything under one umbrella. And because of that, we appreciate it. But as someone has already said that there seems to be an overlap, I wish it could be explained what do we do now. Because according to me, I appreciate the National Qualification Authority because you go there and you do everything. Secondary school certificates are qualified, bachelor's degree are qualified, doctoral, master's, and everything is done under one umbrella. Now, with another cycle I have seen here, I think some of you have seen it, it was sent to the vice chancellors. Now, what do we do? Okay, what do I tell my students from Zambia, from Uganda, from Tanzania, and from India and other countries? Where do we take the secondary school certificates? Where do we take? Do we still come back to Kenya National Qualification Authority? That's my question. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thanks, Yona from the University of Eastern Africa in Baraton. We are going to reply to that. Let me hear Michael Wangai. Please introduce yourself and make your short comment. Michael?
Yes, you can hear me, Director General?
Yes, please introduce yourself.
Thank you. This is Michael Wangai, the Director Quality Assurance, University of Nairobi, representing the Vice Chancellor of the University of Nairobi. I have one comment in terms of the changes that is happening in Kenya, in the university and also in the education sector. Let me join my colleagues in congratulating you and the KNQA and all the partners that have come to ensure that we have this strategic plan that is going now to align ourselves into making the education sector a bit more aligned with the needs of the society. The only concern probably I may have is the multiplicity of institutions that are regulating university sector, where there are charges, for example, for placement of students, we pay for KNQA, I mean not KNQA, but Q, then we again pay for COOPs. And now universities are worried. KNQA has come, maybe there are more charges. And now we would wish to hear from Director General about will there be some burden carried by universities when we come to ensuring that we also align our services and our education service to the regulators. And finally, I want to really congratulate KNQA by putting us together and ensuring that we are involved at every level. We have been attending all the functions of KNQA, and we are very happy that now we are being involved. And any change, we are now trying to see how this strategic plan applies to the university sector, and probably we'll come back to you with a small presentation on how probably we can ensure we are part and parcel of these very good changes that is happening. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael from the University of Nairobi. And maybe just to pick up from what you have said, yes, for a long time as a country, we operated in silos. So we had the TVET sector, we had the university sector, and each sector was, of course, putting together their own rules and regulations that sometimes did not look at what the university sector was looking for. Part of the consequences of that has been that it has been quite difficult for students to progress from the lower level to the higher level. So I have a diploma from Bukura Agricultural College. I want to join Egerton University. Sometimes they think I should start in year 1. I go to Embu, they think I should start in year 3. I go to University of Eldoret. And so part of what we are doing, if you realize, is that for the first time, we are able to have a forum where we have all the people from TVET, universities, secondary schools, to be able to discuss about how to harmonize and coordinate and unify our qualifications across the board, because a Kenyan from primary school to a PhD would like to see how they can progress along. So part of what we are putting together is to help with that. In terms of recognition and the question of qualifications, this is a discussion that we've had, that this mandate, what used to happen in the past is if you wanted to recognize and equate university qualifications, of course, you went to CUE. But then when you had a diploma, then they send you to TVETA. And then if you had a Form 4, then you went to NEC and primary school. So if you wanted to equate your 4 certificates, you took one to NEC, you took another one to TVETA, you took another one to NITA, you took another one to CUE. And part of what we have done without even thinking about amending our laws is that as a community, we agreed that since the KNQA can recognize and equate all of them, we actually set up a coordinating committee that involves both the CUE, TVETA, and basic education, and agreed that Kenya National Qualifications Authority will do this work because we can do for all the certificates with support and complementation from the 3 others. And that is how it has been working. And I think
DG, we've lost you. Yeah. Unmute, Bwana DG.
I had asked the chair, Dr. Kiremi Mwiria, to say something. I see his hand up before I come to Mlati.
Yeah, very well, very well. Thank you very much, DG. I hope you can hear me. Just to reiterate what you said, in view of the comments that have been made by both Ms. Makuku of the Association of African Universities, Wanambadiege, and Mr. Wangai of the University of Nairobi. I think we need to appreciate that this issue about overlaps and about individual institutional mandates, that we cannot talk about the challenges of diversity and at the same time want to have other diverse institutions offering different curriculum and different certificates. I think we need to appreciate, as Dr. Mukwana said, the need for a student to have a one-stop shop, some kind of huduma, where you can go for your certificates and qualifications. And it's not just about national qualifications. Just imagine you are in a country like where you are in Ethiopia, for example, and you want to address the issue of certificates of a student who has been to school in Kenya, and then you have to go, different institutions to get the different certificates. That's too cumbersome. So what I'd like to appeal, even after we meet to discuss these tensions and conflicts and overlaps, is to appreciate that it's about the country as opposed to our individual institutional mandates. Because sometimes we have a problem being closed in our own individual mandates that we forget the bigger goal. I know it's not easy because these institutions are there, but we need to work progressively towards agreeing on the need for a one-stop shop where we can resolve all these problems. Not to say we are ignoring any of the other institutions, but there will be partners. But it is extremely important that we appreciate that if we have one-stop shop, it's good for students, it's good for institutions, it's good for the country, it's good for countries that relate with us, and it's also good for international recognition, because this trend is not about a Kenyan issue, it's not about regional issue, it's international. And we cannot harmonize and coordinate unless we begin to see the need for a one place where we can all go, even as we partner with other institutions and individuals. Thank you, DJ.
Thank you, Dr. Kilemi. We are waiting for the PS to join us. I think there is some hard challenges that he's experiencing. I saw Professor Kere, Onvenja Kere from the University of Eldoret, who is also was the founding chair of the KNQA in the House. Professor Kere, if you have something to say before we invite the PS.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay. DG and the colleagues meeting. Sorry, it took time for me to be allowed to join in, but I'm happy I'm in now. And I want to thank you and your team for the work that you've done. And I think this is a momentous effort for us to launch this strategic plan. And as a founding chairman,
It doesn't seem to be.
Hello? Hello, you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Continue.
Yeah. Initially, we found out that the waters were very murky in terms of qualifications in this country, but I'm glad that we are on the right track now. And this strategic plan actually is a tool that will now help all the parties in the sectors to come together. And I'm very much encouraged by the comments, for example, from the University of Nairobi and other institutions who see the need for us to be working together as a team to ensure that we have quality and we have standards in the education sector across the board. Otherwise, I'm happy to be part of this team. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Kere from the University of Eldoret. I see Mr. Mulati, your hand has been up for a while. Please make short, brief comments as we wait for the PS, who will not be opening now, but he will be closing our workshop.
Thank you very much.
Introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, all participants. My name is Tom Mulati, Acting Director, Technical Education, State Department for Vocational Technical Training. I want to appreciate the Chair, Kenya National Qualification Authority, the CEO, Dr. Mukwana, all invited guests and participants. Mine is very brief. I want to appreciate KNQA on this occasion of the launch of the strategic plan. The strategic plan will go a long way in helping us in the TVET sector, because when qualifications are harmonized, then it is the trainees' access to TVET becomes a little easier, transition from one college to another, one level to another becomes easier. And we are looking forward even to this qualification framework, helping us in the transition of our trainees from the diploma qualification to the other qualifications that they may wish to pursue. Mine is just to reiterate the fact that we need continual stakeholder engagement so that stakeholders are reached at least twice a year, and therefore we minimize the frustration, because if something can go on for a year or two, it can be very frustrating on the learners or on the aspects of qualification. But if it is reviewed regularly, then we will minimize frustration and the world will become a better place to live in. Otherwise, congratulations KNQA on this strategic move. Thank you.
Thank you.
DG, we lost you. We can't hear you.
Yeah, we have lost you, DG.
Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I am.
No.
I heard my name. I heard my name. Thank you. Thank you so much, Bonadiji, colleagues. It is a pleasure to participate in this event. And Bonadiji, I just remember one of the remarks that you made, the signing of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. And for me, I find that this is the launch of this strategic plan gives us a lot of a pillar, perhaps, to lean on as we move towards spreading our wings across Africa as a region that traditionally has been very good in education. And so I find this a very timely activity, launching this strategic plan. I'm also impressed by the number of partners on this forum right now, for example, GIZ. And I do acknowledge that when we want to succeed, we should not try to do it alone. And I appreciate. My name is Emilia Kuno from the Cooperative University of Kenya as DVC academic. So as a cooperator, I'm impressed by the cooperation that is being shown. Thank you so much for having this, and congratulations.
Thank you and make your comments. If not, John. We almost finished. John, are you there? Because I see your hand is up. Paul Wanyeki.
Okay, thank you, Bonadiji. I hope you can hear me.
Please introduce yourself.
I'm Paul Wanyeki. I'm from Dedan Kimathi University of Technology. I chair the TVET department in the university. In the same spirit, I take this opportunity to appreciate and thank KNQA for this opportunity. This stakeholders' involvement make us feel we really own this process, and therefore we will not be saying ile mambo ya NQA. So we feel part of the process. You spoke on the issue of mobility, students moving from diploma to other qualifications like degree. We really need to move with speed to iron out the issue between KNQA and Q on that issue. It has dragged for so long, and we need to spill the ink in bold so that ambiguity is removed from that issue of mobility. Thank you, Bwana DG.
Thanks, Paul. From Greater Kimathi University of Science. John Lumukwana, are you there? Please introduce yourself. John? If not, anybody else that would like to make comments? We are almost coming to a close. What happened to the PS?
Hello, DG.
Yes, Chair.
Yeah, I just like to, it seems like we are coming to the end of this meeting, to appreciate the comments by all those that have joined us today, and just to assure them that as an authority, we'll take their views into account and we'll continue to engage with them throughout as we carry out this important task, because we completely appreciate that we can't do it alone and we need the support of all of you. Many thanks, and we look forward to linking up again and again as we conduct this very important business for our country.
Technical training, maybe I will ask, now that we can't get him, I will ask Mr. Mlati to close for him. But before I do that, is Mutinda, Engineer Mutinda Moa, Director of Vocational Education. Engineer Mutinda Moa, are you here? Engineer Mutinda? Okay, then on that note, I will ask members, I want to ask Tom Lati to close this meeting on behalf of the PS Vocational and Technical Training, Dr. Julius Juan, who was in another meeting. He has been struggling to join us. I think he has had issues with the connectivity. On behalf of the management team of the Kenya National Qualification Authority, I want to really thank you for your comments. These are very valuable. As the chair has said, we intend to bring everyone on board so that we can build qualifications that benefit all Kenyans. In doing this, we will forget about ourselves and think about the people that we serve, the Kenyan students, the Kenyan learners, the Kenyan workers. And as you see within the board of the Kenya National Qualification Authority, we have representation from all sectors, from the TVET sector, from the university sector, professional societies, workers' unions, the Federation of Employers, and even the labor unions. And so we really thank you for your comments and for your attending. We nearly had 200 people here today. I now want to request Tom Mulati on behalf of the PS VTT to make the closing remarks.
Probably one or two before Mulati comes to close the meeting. Hello, this is Engineer Mwa Mutinda. I don't know whether I can have one or two comments before.
Yes, yes, I had asked you to make comments, Engineer, so please proceed.
But let me say I am happy to have participated in this meeting today during the launch of the strategic plan for KNQA. As you know, vocational educational training, we are closely related to the activities which go on at KNQA, because as the ones who are coordinating the youth polytechnic function across the whole country, we have a very big stake in KNQA and in the strategic plan. So I must say today I'm excited, really excited, so that we have been able to come all that far and do a strategic plan which really captures what KNQA wants to do in the next few years, in the next 5 years. So mine is just to thank everybody who was able to come and join you today, and really to say, as the chairman has said, we will give our comments on the areas which really are affecting us as of now, and then it is my hope that you'll be able to incorporate them in the review of the strategic plan. Once again, thank you very much, and we look forward to a good working relationship with the Directorate of Vocational Training. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Before I ask Tom, I see on behalf of National Polytechnics, Anne Musami from Sikalakala National Polytechnic. On behalf of National Polytechnic, Anne Musami?
No.
Thank you.
Okay.
Musami from Sikalakala National Polytechnic.
Please put on your camera so that we can see you.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. I'm Anne Musami from Sikalakala National Polytechnic. I just want to appreciate this particular moment that we have shared. I want to appreciate the KNQA for the big step they have made in coming up with this strategic plan. We want to be very optimistic because it's going to bring some kind of, quality in training, especially in the technical colleges. And I'm seeing I'm seeing some kind of a dream that even now when we talk about collaborating with universities so that we can have our training progressing from certificate, diploma, and even degree, this kind of qualification is going to be key. It's going to be a kind of a basis for us to base on so that our trainees can actually realize their dreams. So we are very, very much grateful for this kind of big step that you people have made. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I will now request Tom Mulati to close the workshop on behalf of PS Vocational and Technical Training, and then Dr. Clem Mwiria will close on behalf of the KNQA team. Tom, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay.
The chair KNQA, the DG KNQA, all participants present, good morning. Allow me to come back again on behalf of the PS Vocational Technical Training, Dr. Julius Juan. I want to bring this launch of the strategic plan to a close with a few remarks. First and foremost, as you are aware, the country is moving into a CBC curriculum, and the CBC curriculum offers various pathways and various career choices. And KNQA will be very key in determining the qualifications and the levels for the various pathways that will exist under CBC for the learners in terms of sizing opportunity as they progress on. Also, as we are all aware, and KNQA has taken up this one very well, the recognition of prior learning is also another area that this country is really focusing on. Is a new avenue that we have now begun to move in, and recognition of prior learning will help us to get manpower that can be able to bring on board other courses where we don't have expertise through regular training, but we can only get them through recognition of prior learning. And therefore, KNQA is very strategic, and the strategic plan is really going to help in this endeavor. TVET also is a pathway to many of the trainees, and therefore KNQA will provide a good opportunity for those who are taking up the TVET sector to be able to enjoy the sweat of their work, or enjoy the benefits of what they have studied for and be able to progress on. And therefore, in appreciating KNQA for the strategic plan, I wish to note that the strategic plan has addressed and will continue to address the need for communication strategy. The communication strategy is extremely important for KNQA so that the learners in and out of the country are able to understand and make informed choices in terms of training levels and in terms of their choices of progression. And therefore, I find KNQA at the engine of education in Kenya, in East Africa, and in the world over. And therefore, your communication strategy is going to be very key. As you may realize, the Kenyan population is still tagged to certificate, diploma, and degree, and as opposed to level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, which is a unifying factor. And therefore, your communication strategy, if amplified, will really help to educate the population about the new arrangement or the new framework, which is ideal for the nation now and beyond. With those remarks, I want to appreciate the good work. I also want to appreciate the chair who has entered a moving ship, and the ship is really moving. And thank you, Chair. May you continue to steer the KNQA to even greater heights, and the entire fraternity of KNQA, the entire stakeholder of KNQA. I am also impressed with the attendance. It is good. And let us read this document. Let us use it and run with it for the betterment of the world where we are. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tom, and sorry for ambushing you. I now want to invite the chair of the KNQA, Dr. Kilem Mwiria, to make closing remarks, and Frank Mukuna to make the closing prayer. After that.
Bwana DG, thank you very much. Thank you very much for coordinating this event very well, in spite of the challenges that we've been, we've experienced. I think it's gone very well. And I'd just like to take it from where Mr. Mulata's left, that we are a new organization. We are joining to work with partners that were born before KNQA. So it's not an easy task. And what we would call, we would request of those partners is to see how they can support this new baby, aware that it's about all of us, it's about the institutions, it's about this country. And this support will come not only by way of supporting the development and the redesigning of this plan, but also in terms of helping to mobilize the population and the people that are going to be key beneficiaries and other actors in the process that will be involved in. So it's just about mobilizing people for their ideas and their resources, because as a young organization, we can do with a lot of support. And it's clear that the beginning has been good. We have stakeholders that are with us, and I know together we'll be missionaries of KNQA for the betterment of not just this institution, but all our partners and country. Many thanks, and we wish you very well until we reconnect again.
Thank you, Professor Kilem Mwiria. It's now 3 minutes past our target, because we targeted to end at 11:30. We are quite within time. It's now my pleasure to invite Frank Mukuna, who is our Deputy Director in charge of registration, accreditation, and documentation, to close this workshop with a word of prayer.
Thank you, our DG, Dr. Muhwana, our Chair, Dr. Kilemi Mwiria, members present, CEOs from various state agencies, and participants. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Allow me, Dr. DG, to read one verse from Isaiah 40, chapter 40, verse 31, before I pray. The Bible says, but they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. May God bless his holy word. Let's bow for a word of prayer. Our dear, precious, holy, heavenly, loving Father, we look upon thee because you are God. Thou art the one that created the heavens and the earth, and all things you formed them by your word. We are your creatures. And Lord, you gave us this dominion that we may be able to control it. Father, we thank you for the life you've given unto us. We thank you for the opportunity you've given unto us to serve humanity. And Lord Jesus Christ, we have successfully launched the KNQA strategic plan for the year 2020 to 2025. Lord, this is the blueprint that will spearhead this authority to new heights of God. I want to thank you for all that have participated in this particular function of God. I want to pray, my Father, may you bless, Holy God, the leadership of this authority. Bless, oh my Father, all the stakeholders of God. Bless the work of our hands and go before us, my Father, that is, as we implement this strategic plan, Lord, may your guidance be upon us to help us, to guide us, that we should mount up with wings like eagles, that Father, dear God, with your guidance, we should be able to overcome. We thank, we bless you for all things. Blessed be thine holy living name. Bless this nation. May you bring peace and calm to this nation for the glory of your name. Bless the population of this nation, O God, and see us through because you are God. We commit all things unto thee, my Father. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank, and thank you, everyone. And our workshop is officially closed. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Frank.